I'm Saira Khan, and like a lot of people in the UK, I love curry. It's become the nation's favourite food, and as a result, it's big business. The UK curry trade is worth more than £3 billion and is something worth celebrating. Tonight, I'll meet the businessmen and women who've made millions from our love of curry. The man behind a vast ready meal empire.
I said, someday, this Indian curry will land on the shelf of the supermarket with vengeance, and it did.
The man who's exporting Indian beer to India.
It was always my dream to sell beer in India, for India. And our sales are, without exaggeration, growing at almost 100% year on year.
And we'll meet the woman who brought Indian food into our homes and started it all.
One of the things I'm going to make is Rogan Josh. This is a classical.
I think I came along at exactly the right time when the country was just ready to look at Indian food in a serious way.
I taste the world's hottest curry. God, that is hot. And meet the team that's fighting with tradition and the recession by trying to make modern curry a high street phenomenon.
We want to get away from the old stigmas of, a quick beer and a curry. You're looking at a new, vibrant, quick lunch experience, which happens to be Indian cuisine.
Tonight on The Money Programme, we get to the heart of the curry business and find out what's next for this huge industry. When it comes to eating out, the UK has one of the most competitive restaurant markets in the world.
There is such a choice of these days that you've really got to deliver for the consumer to make sure that they come to you and indeed come back to you.
Those that don't get it right go bust.
Failure rates for restaurants in the UK run at about 15%. Most other industries run at about 5%. I think right now, A, it's difficult, and B, it's getting harder.
Running a food business might be risky, but curry is a good market to be doing it in.
Everyone eats Indian food, everyone eats curry, everyone goes to Indian restaurants, and the vast majority of people cook Indian food at home. So it is very much now a part of the British way of life.
In fact, chicken tikka masala is the nation's favourite dish. In Britain, we eat at least 18 tonnes of it a week. The Indian food industry is huge. There are some 15,000 restaurants and takeaways, but no one has yet done for curry what Pizza Express or Strada did for Italian on the British High Street. Despite the economic downturn, one company believes it can fill the gap in the market. What is Tiffin Bites all about? What concept are you trying to bring to the UK population?
The concept of Tiffin Bites is casual eating, trendy, relaxed environment, and a quick delivery mechanism so you can eat really quickly and fairly economically. You're looking at a new, vibrant lunch experience, which happens to be Indian cuisine.
But does the UK's restaurant-going public think that curry at lunch is a good idea? I took a selection of the most popular lunch dishes to the streets. Excuse me, gentlemen. Lovely young girls. From my tray, what would you normally have for lunch?
That.
The sushi?
Yes. The sushi.
The salad?
Yeah.
The sushi.
You would have the salad. Why?
It's just lighter and healthier.
Because it's better for me.
Healthy and light.
Why wouldn't you go for the curry?
Not at lunchtime.
It's too heavy for lunchtime.
It's more like a dinner for me.
If I had a curry, I would eat it in the evening.
If you had the choice of having a light curry, would you go for it?
Of course we will.
Yeah, if it was more of a lunchtime option.
The company believes it has the right product.
Our menus are light. If you actually have a look at our murg masala, which is our version of the chicken tikka masala, you're looking at a very healthy, low-fat recipe. It doesn't sit in your tummy, it's not full of cream and grease. We would like to promote healthy eating within the Indian context.
While curry for lunch is new territory, the food itself has had long-standing appeal. How did curry become our favourite food? Amazingly, 60 years ago there were only 6 Indian restaurants in the whole of the UK. During the 50s and 60s, many more were established by young men from India, Pakistan and Bangladesh who came here to work. Reza Mohammed's family started one of the UK's earliest Indian restaurants in 1954.
There were very few Indian restaurants, and so because they were so novel and because they were so cheap, people wanted to come in, and then also it catered for the expats, the ex-army who came from India, who really fancied a curry, and that's how it all started.
The restaurants were as well known for the way they looked as they were for the food they served.
Well, in those days, it was a typical flocked wallpapered restaurant and then very busy carpets. And I think it was a look which most restaurateurs took on board because they found this formula to have worked.
And that was the extent of our curry experience, until one woman brought Indian food into our homes. She is, of course, Madhur Jaffrey.
In this series, I'm going to show you how to cook all kinds of Indian food. Some of it you may be familiar with, the kind of food you've had in Indian restaurants, and some of it you've probably never eaten. It's the kind of food you get in Indian homes. One of the things I'm going to make...
I think I came along at exactly the right time when the country was just ready to look at Indian food in a serious way. And the television programs made them look at it in a serious way.
A lot of people think that all Indian food is very hot. Well, it isn't. What makes Indian food Indian, really, is a mixture, a blend of selected spices.
I mean, you couldn't get green coriander, green chilies, ginger. These things were unavailable.
I'm going to put in some fresh ginger. Now, ginger is something you may not be too familiar with. This is what ginger looks like. It's really like a potato that went a bit haywire.
I would get letters from people who would say, we watch you on whatever the day was, Tuesday, and we cook whatever you cooked that day on Wednesday. And people were running out to get things that they'd never cooked with before. And they didn't know what home-cooked Indian food was all about. They knew that restaurant dishes. And that, I think, was a revelation.
As Indian food became more familiar, business opportunities grew and restaurateurs began to offer the customer more choice. High-end Indian restaurants like the Cinnamon Club were born.
You must have had quite a lot of people saying, what a crazy idea, you're going to charge 60 quid for a set menu, no one's going to pay that. How do you overcome obstacles like that?
Absolutely, I did. We did get a lot of that when we opened. We thought, a lot of people sort of wrote us off immediately saying, oh, no, people here have preconceived notions about how they want to eat and what they consider Indian food and how they like to order in Indian restaurants, and this is not going to work.
But the high-end restaurants proved the cynics wrong and rewards have been high.
What's the most anyone has ever spent in your restaurant?
Well, I'm not sure if I'm allowed to reveal that information, but I think it was in the tune of £2,500 for a table of 3.
Wow.
Not all of us have thousands to spend on dinner, but the advent of restaurants like the Cinnamon Club affected our high street curry houses too.
What role have high-end Indian restaurants played for the overall industry?
Well, in a nutshell, a very important one. I mean, they push the standard. People's expectations generally from Indian restaurants are much higher now than they were before these top-end Indian restaurants started.
Mm-hmm. Now I understand you've got a special dish for me?
Yes, I do. I've got the world's hottest curry for you, also, we believe.
Yes. Okay. Here it is.
You got Hyderabadi spiced lamb.
Shall I just tuck in then? Here goes. Is that enough? Do you think that's going to blow my head off? Shall I taste that?
try
Is that
it.
too much?
No, that isn't.
I'm getting
Not
a bit
with all the
nervous. It smells really hot. But is it going to really hurt me? Not that bad.
Okay, good. Go on then.
Okay, I've got a bit of a sweat going on now. God, that is hot. Thanks.
You're welcome, Sarah.
It's not just curry that's come a long way since the 60s. The way we eat out has totally changed over the years too.
20 years ago, I think what we saw was a lot of people who had occasions to go out to eat. So, for example, if it was Granny's birthday or if it was Mum and Dad's anniversary, but actually your choice was very limited. So, Bernie Inns at the time, beef eaters, was really sort of, you know, orange juice for starter, steak and chips, and a Black Forest Gatto was really where I think the main choice lay. As we went into the 90s and the population started to diversify, I think we started to see the restaurant industry responding, and we saw the birth of the likes of brands such as Wagamama, Latasca, Yo Sushi.
We now have large national brands based on most cuisines, but not Indian food. In fact, curry houses are stuck in a bit of a rut.
Whilst other cuisines and other brands have been innovating and changing, I think that the Indian takeaway, the Indian meal, in the consumer's psyche, in the population's eating out repertoire, has not changed at all.
For many of us, going for a curry is still something that involves poppadoms, late nights and lager. This is where the new kid on the block hopes to step in.
We want to make it into a vibrant chain of restaurants which has fresh cooking and has the ambience and the atmosphere. We want to get away from the old stigmas of a quick beer and a curry.
So far, curry for lunch has been successful. Company turnover is now £3.5 million. And it has expanded beyond its 4 London restaurants.
We have an outdoor catering event side, which we do a lot of corporate events. We do weddings. We've got clients in the banks like Goldman Sachs. They do a Tiffin Tuesday or a Tiffin Wednesday.
It caters to airlines and sells in department stores and shopping malls. The food for all these outlets, including the restaurants, is prepared in one location. Former chairman Maurice Gammel showed me around.
Why have you chosen to have one central kitchen?
Essentially, we're a brand, and a brand means a lot of things. Brand means consistency of quality, means being able to reproduce it over and over again in also every single day of the week. It means also familiarity with customers, and therefore to be able to do this consistently and correctly, you need to do it in one central place where everything is controlled.
The company believes that standardising the quality of its food will mean customers come back for more.
But most people don't want a standardised curry, do they?
The reality, what we've eliminated actually, are the vagaries of